All right, it's been almost a year since Arcane Season 2 first released, and I think it is one of the most misunderstood pieces of media in existence. And I am going to use this video to explain and walk you through exactly why I think that. I literally just got done rewatching Season 2. I have an entire notes app filled with notes from the entire season. I'm going to go through those. I'm going to explain my points. I'm going to bring up points that other people make to say that this season's bad. And yep, we're just gonna get right into it. I hope you enjoy this video. Listen to me yap and we'll see what happens. Also, I just watched someone's hate video on Arcane Season 2, so I may be a little bit worked up. I apologize for that in advance, but some people just make such bad points about this show that I truly don't understand. Truly felt to me like some people just watched Season 2 without using any of their brain and didn't see any of the nuance and just thought it was bad. And I will also give my critiques on the season. I think there's like one or two things I think they could have done a tiny bit better. But I straight up seen people saying that this season character assassinated every character and it was just straight garbage. It is just not true. So let me get into my notes and then I will hit every point as we go through. So in episode 1 of season 2, Vi becomes an enforcer. And I know that a lot of people do not like this point, but I'm going to give you some arguments. So first of all, Caitlyn brings up this opportunity for Vi as a way to sort of put to bed Jinx and sort of not have to punish all of Zaun. And Vi initially rejects it, but then she goes out and she's talking with this dude and how he's talking about how, like, you know, who did you just lose in the attack? And Vi feels the weight of Jinx's decisions and she feels like it's her fault. I don't think many people understand that Vi at this point sees Powder as completely dead. She wants Jinx dead so that all these things that are happening can finally be put to bed, can be dealt with, so that she doesn't feel the guilt of the constant death that's around her that's caused by Jinx. So I think her becoming an enforcer makes sense in this situation. Again, people also don't understand the nuance of Vi's character. I feel like Vi is also a tortured soul. She just handles it differently than Jinx does. But she still has a lot of the same mental, like, thought patterns. Like, she thinks that all this stuff is her fault. She thinks that Jinx, all her actions are her fault. She wants it to be put to bed. She's willing to become an enforcer to sort of make change. Like, she's still this character that's about making change. And I don't know, some people saw it as, oh, she's just becoming a cop. And I think it's funny because Jinx even gives her shit for this throughout the season. She's like, oh, my sister turning blue and stuff like that. You would never. But I don't think she understands why she's doing it. Like, there is a legitimate reason why Vi would do this. Like a character that's been put through hell on both sides. She's taken it from Zaun. She's taken it from Piltover. But she is done with it. She just wants to do what suits her interests. And her interests in that moment are getting shit dealt with in Zaun. I also wrote down that Maddie, this bitch, needs to die already. Maddie is the bitch enforcer guard lady in this show. And she is one of the most unlikable characters in media history. And when she dies at the end, my God, was it satisfying. And in this episode, I'm just going to say this now, something that I love, bro. Immediately, they are just getting right into the action. And Bessa using Zaun to attack one of Piltover's, like, meetings, town meetings. I feel like it was just a really good way to start out the season. And again, like, the action in this show is unmatched for me in almost any other show, animated or otherwise. Not to mention, like, later in this season, there is genuine, just straight art pieces shown and animated, and it's so beautifully done. I can't stress it enough. I also just got watching Magikarp Use Fly video on Arcane, and if you haven't watched it, go watch it, because I think it does a great job just breaking down this show, like, from a cinematography standpoint and musical standpoint and all of that, and showing you that this is a genuine piece of art. In episode 2, we start off with this cool sequence of them taking out the syndicates, and I feel like that was also misunderstood. People had this whole, like, oh no, they used chemical warfare on Zaun, God forbid, and I don't think it was supposed to be seen that way at all. They were using the gray to go through the tunnels to do precision strikes on the syndicate leaders and to find Jinx. It wasn't like they were gassing the entire city. I did not understand why people were acting like they were just straight up committing war crimes that were unreasonable, especially when their council just got bombed by Jinx. I didn't think it was that crazy. And again, this season in general just uses music in such a beautiful way and does these music videos. I feel like it improved on season 1 in almost every single way possible. Like in season 1, the side characters feel like complete characters. In season 2, the side characters to the side characters feel like complete characters. It's insane. I also wrote down Heimerdinger is so tough. When he initiates sneaky mode, he is the GOAT. So I think that's true too. Also, there's a scene where Jinx and Savika are fighting one of the members of the syndicate, and Jinx gives Savika this like gambler arm that she made. It is so cool and it's so perfect. It fits her character awesome and makes Savika feel way more like lively and just funny in general. It's so unique as well. Like the arm just does different things depending on what's rolled on the arm. I can't get over just how much I love this show. There's so many unique moments. There's so much creativity. It's so good. There's also so many different artistic choices. Like when Victor is just walking after he connects with the Arcane, you see his footprint put into the ground before he steps on it. So it's like he was destined to be there, which is like a whole thing with his character. They do so much in just the framing. They do so much in the small amount of dialogue. They do so much with just the emotion on the characters' faces. It's incredible. I also wrote down that I think some people's problem with Victor this season is that it feels like his character takes a large jump from season 1. And I feel like you're just missing the point of the Arcane. Like the point was that he completely enveloped himself with it. And he still had a separation, which I guess I'll just explain now because I might forget later. Like he kills Sky, his like assistant, in that moment. I shouldn't say him. The Arcane kills Sky, but she's like talking to him until he finally gets like the last evolution. She dies and he says, "I'll miss talking to you." And she looks at him in the eyes and says, "No, you won't." So it's just a clear explanation of the Arcane is like completely corrupting his mind and making him have these thoughts and do these decisions that are not really what we saw in the first season. And I feel like that makes a lot of sense. I guess you probably have to suspend your disbelief a little bit, but I mean, we're already in this mystical, magical world of like craziness, so I don't think it's that hard to do. And the entire theme of the second season is that Arcane was not a blessing, it was a curse. It is corrupting everything, it's messing everything up. So while yes, Victor is a very different character from season 1, I don't think the progression is very hard to understand or appreciate. I pretty much clocked it immediately after he exits the Arcane. He's like, "We've grown so far apart, me and you." And Jason's just like, "Bro, I want my partner back. Like, what are you talking about?" And it's because like Victor's just a completely different personality. Like Victor is not there anymore. Also, the way they utilize Singed in this season and they explain his intentions and show him slowly working on Warwick in the first like 3 episodes, and they use his music box to explain, like, I have played League of Legends. I'm sorry, but I've done it. And I've known this lore for forever, and connecting Singed to being Dr. Yvette, Oriana, and Victor's like apprentice, it was so cool. And I feel like it all works. Like it makes his character feel so deep. Like she's doing all of this for his daughter. He really does not give a fuck about anything. It's all for his daughter. And then Victor's shown to be a kid, you know, he cared about these animals that Singed was experimenting on, and he had a completely different ideology. But then eventually he comes around and gets involved with the Arcane and just like falls, you know, into the deep end completely. But by the end, Victor's shown through again, like after what happens at the very end of the season when Echo throws the device that shouldn't exist onto Victor. Victor finally gets to see, he finally gets to be himself again for a moment, and him and Jace decide that they're ending this. They made a choice. That choice was going to ruin everything, so they ended it together and made the ultimate sacrifice of just everything out of existence, including them. And I feel like that works so well. And then in episode 3, they introduced the Black Rose, and I think a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is the most boring part of the season." And I get it if you just think that it's not going to go anywhere, but it's clearly going to lead to another show, and I thought that was really cool. Like the setup for all of this, just involving Mbessa with the Black Rose. Mbessa's all of her, like, the reason she does everything is for her family, but ultimately for power, so that she can defeat the Black Rose because she just hates them with her entire being. And I felt like all of that lore was super cool to know and learn. I loved it. But But again, I guess maybe some people are just like, don't care about the universe. Also, they do a lot of really cool stuff. Like, again, if you're a fan of the League of Legends lore, like this show is so good. They show so much and people wouldn't even notice. Like, they talk about Janna in this episode, and like, again, you would have no idea if you didn't play League who that was. But they do so many small teases of different characters and just like making the world actually feel like the one that you had been playing for years and years. And this is the scene where Vi is going to kill Jinx, and Jinx says to Vi, "I never thought my sister would turn blue belly," meaning like she became a cop. And then Vi says, "I never thought mine would orphan kids." So it just shows like Vi and Jinx at this moment are on completely two different ends, bro. Like, Vi wants her dead. Jinx is like disgusted by Vi, and they're just not having it. They do not see eye to eye. They probably don't even feel like sisters at this point. But then one thing that changes everything is when Isha goes in to save Powder. Finally, Vi sees a glimpse of her sister again and completely switches. People don't understand how complex these characters are. Like, when you see someone that you view as destroying everything, she's ruined your life, she's killed people over and over, this person that you loved, you cared for, who you never viewed could do such bad things, does them over and over again, and you view her as like a complete evil. I gotta take her out. But then you see the good in her when a child comes to save her life because she loves her so much, because they're actual friends, like they are sisters. Of course, that's going to change your mind. Like, you see your sister again, you want to save her. These are very complex characters that deal with a lot of trauma, and I feel like if you don't have any nuance, maybe you're just not gonna understand that. And like, even when Jinx is about to die, even when Vi is about to kill her, Jinx looks at Vi and says, "I'm glad it's you. It had to be you." Like, she wants her to be the one that kills her. Like, this is a very weird and complicated relationship, and one that turns on a dime like regularly. After that moment where Vi saves Jinx's life by not letting Caitlyn kill her, Caitlyn looks at Vi and says, "It's her blood in your veins." And then Vi screams back at Caitlyn, "Then why are you the one acting like her?" And again, like, so little dialogue in this scene explains so much of Caitlyn's and Vi's relationship. Again, an incredibly complex and nuanced relationship. Their relationship throughout this entire season is incredibly toxic, and I think it explains some later scenes that people just had such bad feelings towards. But for now, I will keep going. And I'm going to be honest right now, I am summarizing my notes to an extreme degree, so if I forget anything, you can tell me in the comments. I'll try to answer every comment that I can, but like, I'm skimming through some of this and hitting what I feel like the most pertinent criticisms have been to give my side and also explain what I like. So I apologize, but I'm gonna keep going. Also, it's from this point that we get so much character development for Isha. She becomes Jinx's like mini disciple, I guess, and she does so much, like painting murals and, you know, riling up all of the members of Zaun just to be like rebels. Isha wanted to look like Jinx, she wanted to act like Jinx. It was such a interesting way to characterize a child, like, and it totally makes sense to me. Also, something that I just thought was like a neat detail in this episode, when Vi and Maddie are like starting to get closer, and Bessa comes in and is literally like a complete dickhead to Maddie. And I thought that was so cool because later on, Ambessa planted Maddie. She told Caitlyn, "Professional entanglements are risky business," or something like that. And I just think it's so cool that she was completely working Caitlyn for like the entire season. Also wrote down how Isha is just like a little rascal rebel, and I love it. Yeah, this is episode 4, and in this we get like the Warwick reveal, which I'm just gotta say is so cool. His blood vision is so sick. The way that everything shifts to red and you just get this rushing, you can feel how crazed this character is. And it culminates in this moment where Jinx has to save Isha, and she's like willing to do pretty much anything, and leads into this fight with Warwick, which is also beautiful. And then it leads to the moment where Jinx and Warwick are fighting, and Warwick finally like snaps out of it and becomes Vander in this moment and recognizes Powder, and just like that moment is so special. And then leading into episode 5, Jinx and Vi can reconnect over their father being back, their dead father being back after all these years. I saw people being like, "Oh, there's no way Jinx and Vi would get back together in this moment." I'm like, I'm sorry, either you haven't experienced like the death of a loved one, or I don't even know. But when your family like dies, it can bring your family back together, let alone your dead dad coming back as a wolf man. I think it's plausible for two sisters who have crazy history to be like, dude, we are reuniting over our dad because this is everything we cared about. This was why they split. He's back now. They have no reason to be apart. I thought that was just like a horrible point by people like, oh, why are they getting back together? Like, bro, their dad's back. Come on. Also, just the scene where they all hug Vander, Vi, Jinx, and Isha hug Vander. Oh my god, bro, I love it. They also use that moment to just show a backstory with Vi and Jinx's mom, and I just thought that was also super well done. At the end of this episode too, we have where Jace returns from the Arcane. We have no idea what happened to him, and he just straight up slaughters a dude. And it's just this crazy cool mystery that doesn't get explained for like 2 more episodes. And he visually looks completely different. He feels completely different. And you're like, where did this character go? I love that as well. And then we have episode 6, and I am going to try to not get emotional because every time I watch this episode, I cry and sob for like a straight hour. Like, they characterize Isha so well up until this point. She does so many little things in the background, like getting Vander water and just like copying Jinx's mannerisms and doing so much with no words. It is so good. Like at the beginning of this episode, Isha noticed Jinx taking the stone out of her gun and takes a stone out of Vi's gauntlets so that later she uses those for something. She's already extremely protective of Vander. She like snarls at anyone that like looks at him weird. And the visuals in Vander's mind where Victor is like trying to like save him to get to Vander, and they just showed like this hellscape full of Warwick imagery. It's so cool. And again, I can't stress this enough. This show is art. Like, it is straight up art. If you don't like the art, sure, but I don't think you can like criticize it for certain points when there's so many different scenes where it's just straight up beautiful, like straight out of I can't even speak. I can't even think. And then they show this scene where it's like this watercolor, just memories of Vander that he has, like of Vi growing up, of Powder growing up, of their parents, and his relationship with Silco is all done through this watercolor, beautifully animated scene, which has a certain song on it that I'm not going to name because of certain things that have come about that person who made that song. We will not talk about those, but it is so beautiful. And there's also this scene where Isha and Jinx are like perched up on a lookout, and she looks at Isha and says, "Ever since you came into my life, I feel like I put on glasses, except I can't tell if everything's blurry or clear." And I just, again, this is such a small dialogue section that explains her feelings towards Isha and characterizes Jinx in such a perfect way, bro. I cannot, the reason why this is so perfect is like, obviously, when you put on glasses, you're going to see clearly, right? But Jinx is this flawed, crazy character that it's almost like when she puts on the glasses, everything's blurred. Like, she's finally not reacting crazily to things. She's not seeing clear. She's seeing blurred. She's like, her emotions are finally being dulled where she can feel things again. And again, it's like this nuanced, complicated thing where it's like, what? You're putting on glasses. Of course you would see clear, but she just doesn't know what she's seeing. She just knows that she likes it. I also added to this the part where Vander steps in front of the dude trying to kill Jinx, and he just says, "Don't touch my daughter." Like, it is so... I get goosebumps every time, bro. I love Vander. I love Warwick. It's so sick. Also in this episode, you see Jace about to kill Victor, and this violin just plays along with the visuals of the Arcane and everything. It is so beautiful, so sad, and so interesting at the same time, because you can tell Jace has been through hell. You don't know why, you don't know where, and he just fucking obliterates Victor. It's so good. Not only that, but like the screams all the background characters are letting out are so like, they are so terrifying, and I can just feel the pain, and I don't know, it's straight out of a horror movie. I love it. And now I am going to try to explain how much I love the final fight of episode 6. I watched this show in my Discord, and I'm not gonna lie, I cried in front of everyone, and it was very embarrassing, but dude, I just love this scene. So obviously this huge fight breaks out, and Bessa's trying to get to Victor. They're doing all this nonsense, and in the nonsense, after Victor dies, Warwick just goes insane. Like, Warwick is completely taken over, and the hell is coming out, and he's just slaughtering everything and everyone in its path, and it leads to this scene where Jinx is going to die. Oh god. And Isha takes both of the stones that she had secretly nabbed out of Vi's gauntlets and Jinx's gun, and she puts them both in the gun at the same time. And this beautiful song just starts playing as the memories of her and Jinx start playing in her mind as she happily goes to save Jinx in this moment. Oh my god, bro, I can't. I wish I could explain this without fucking crying. But in this scene, I think it's a perfect showcase of what true love is like. At least for me. Like when someone is willing to die for you so readily and so willfully because they know they're going to save you, they're going to save everyone, and there's just a playing the memories of how much fun they had together and how much Jinx meant to her is so beautiful. And it's also this gut-wrenching moment because you know that Jinx is just going to go apeshit after. But again, I'm sure some of you have that person that you know you would do anything for. Like whether it's friends or family. Personally, for me, if I view my little brother or some of my friends in this situation, I know what I'd do the same thing that Isha did. Also on the flip side, if I was Jinx and I saw Isha doing that, I know how much it would ruin me. And so it makes this scene so beautifully tormented. I love it. It makes me cry every time. And I need demons to go capture Fortiche and keep them in jail and keep them from animating anything ever again. And this episode ends with a quote from Victor where he says, "That which inspires us to our greatest good is also the cause of our greatest evil." And I love this quote so much. It completely explains this relationship between Isha and Jinx. Isha inspired Jinx to finally embrace that good, but once she was gone, it's going to cause Jinx to fully let go and embrace her greatest evil. It's so good. And then we have episode 7, which is like genuinely, I don't know how you can see this episode and not go, man, this is an art piece. This needs to be framed. It is beautiful. Hats off. Luckily, I don't think there's many critiques of this episode, but like, dude, there's so much right with it, showing what could have been and framing Powder as like if things were a little bit different, just slightly different. Like Powder is a great person. And it also makes a line in the next episode so heartbreaking where Jinx just said, "There's no universe where I'm good." And you just want to scream at her, that's not true. We just saw it. You are. But we get to go through this world, this what if episode, and we just see all these characters that we loved in season 1, and Echo and Powder get to have this beautiful moment. They're fighting at the beginning of the episode because Powder like doesn't see Echo and Echo because he's not Echo, he's the other Echo. The entire time throughout this episode, Jace is going through absolute hell, seeing the future, and the dichotomy in this episode is so perfect. There's a cut where Echo and Jinx are dancing. It's so beautiful. The song is amazing. And then it just hard cuts, slams you to the ground, and shows you Jace going through actual hell. Man, I love it, bro. It's so messed up, but so good. And then Heimer also sacrificing himself, even though he's a Yordle, so he never really dies, but sacrificing himself so that Echo can get back, and that's ultimately what saves the day. But yeah, in this episode, I don't really have much to say other than like, it's straight beautiful. If you haven't watched it somehow, go watch it. It's amazing. And then we have episode 8. This episode is a lot of build up to episode 9, obviously, but there are some super sick fight sequences. There's one when Victor like perfectly does his evolution on people. They turn into these like robot creatures that feel like messed up clocks. I don't know, something about the way they tick just makes them feel like clocks to me. But there's a scene where Mel and Jace fight one, and just the way that it moves is so captivating and so cool. And then this was probably one of the most controversial moments that I have seen in the show, where Vi unjails Jinx, and she's super glad to see her. He tells Jinx, like, you can do good, like take all that energy and put it to good, like let's help people. Jinx just immediately exits the jail, locks Vi in the jail, and escapes and says, I'm gonna end the cycle. And then Caitlyn comes down to get Vi and says, oh, I thought you might be in here. And then they have sex. And a lot of people, I mean, a lot of people have a very big issue with this scene, because it's like, your sister just told you that she's going to kill herself, and now you're having sex with Caitlyn. Like, how dare you not immediately go help your sister? And again, I just don't think people see the nuance and complexity of these characters. I feel like it fits perfectly. Vi comes down to Jinx. She thinks that Jinx is going to still be what she saw her with Isha. It's not the case. When she goes down there, she notices, oh my gosh, it's Jinx again. There's no powder left. It's completely that's it. And then Jinx locks her in this jail. I'm assuming she's in this jail for a while. She's just replaying all these thoughts in her head. She's mad. She's annoyed. She doesn't know what to do. Her sister's gone again. She's feeling so much stuff. And then Caitlyn comes down, and yes, she's gonna fuck her. I mean, I don't know how to say this, but like, I don't think I would really do different in that situation. Like, again, it's not supposed to be this great good thing that Vi does. She's this complex, tortured character as well as Jinx, and I think she just wanted to feel something good for a moment after Jinx getting ripped away from her again. And again, if you assume this is a couple hours, like, it's going to take her a long time to find her anyway. But I don't even think that needs to be the argument. The argument is she saw that powder was gone again. She looked into those eyes, saw nothing, and saw that it was just all Jinx. Also in this episode where Victor finally evolves one last time and turns into like the Victor you know him from the games, and Sky like fully dies and says what I said earlier of just like, he says, I'll miss our talks, and she says, no, you won't. Like, he is fully gone. He's not Victor at this moment. It's not until the end where there's just a tiny bit of Victor left. And they do this scene where it's the 21 Pilot song, The Line, and I am not a 21 Pilot fan by any measure, but this song just hits so much in this moment, and it's really cool because there's also a part where it feels like the song is corrupting too, like the Arcane is just doing what it wants with anything. And then there is episode 9. This episode starts with one of the most haunting things of just Jinx trying to kill herself over and over and over. And it's not until Echo says the right thing of, we could build something new. Like, that's what stops her from killing herself. But before that, he also says, it's always a dance with you. And I feel like there was some hint in Jinx's mind that just saw the dance that they had in the alternate timeline. That also makes her not kill herself for a moment. Like, until then, she was just blowing up herself and Echo. But in that moment, she decides to jump off alone because she doesn't want to hurt Echo. But I just love the idea of someone who is on their last leg, just trying to end it, and using this device you brought from an alternate dimension that that person that is trying to end their life helped you make in this alternate dimension, and using that to save her, and just trying to say the right thing that finally breaks through all her walls and all her conviction to end it all in that moment is just so cool and so beautiful and so messed up. And again, it's nuanced. Like, you might not think it makes sense, but I think when there's these tortured minds, like, you don't know what's gonna work, and clearly a lot of things didn't. He went back over and over and over again, and finally she was able to like get through in her head, like, wait, I can maybe build one last thing and save one person that really does matter to me. Like, Vi still matters to her. This powder obviously matters to Vi, but these relationships are complicated, man. Also, there's just this whole war scene that happens that's so good. There's all these characters, these side characters that clearly just want the best for Zaun, want the best for Piltover. They want the best for the city. They go into fight, and a lot of them lose their lives. Like, it's so tragic, but so inspiring. I also wrote down 200 because yes, Maddie finally gets one pumped. Headshot to the face with a golden pump, full box, one piece, get shit on, idiot. And I feel like everything in this episode is so satisfying. Like, it just feels like they're wrapping up characters, and this whole war and this whole battle feels so satisfying, man. Also, the fight between Melon and Bessa and her using the Black Rose to kill her mom was so messed up but cool. Also, the design of Victor as well, I haven't mentioned. There's a scene in this that's, again, straight out of a museum where he looks like God, and he's in this like golden background with all these people, and you can just see his old face just like stretched out on his new one. It's so cool. And the show sort of culminates in this moment where Jinx and Vi have each other's back for the last time as they fight off their dad, and then it leans up to them, you know, not being successful. Then Echo using the thing he got from an alternate dimension to sort of get Victor to finally be Victor for one last moment, and it culminates in this perfectly beautiful end to this story, which is something that I feel like also people don't understand. Like, this is an end to a chapter of a book, a very long book. It's not like Vi ceases to exist, Jinx ceases to exist. And I also thought it was interesting, I don't know if it's just me, but I thought it was so obvious when I first watched this that Jinx was not dead. Like, Caitlyn's literally holding a bomb of her, looks at a tunnel where she fell, and like smiles like, okay, she's not dead. Also, towards the end of this, Jace is in Victor's mind and just is trying to convince him that there's beauty in the imperfections, and I feel like that sums up this show so well for me. Yeah, maybe it's not perfect, but I feel like these imperfect characters are what makes it perfect to me. Like, they don't do exactly what you want them to do. That's why I like it. They're nuanced. They feel real to me. Like, I have had people in my life who have been absolutely crazy. Like, they do not do what you want them to do, but you can still see good in them, and you can still like try to work with it. But sometimes, again, they're just flawed people, and ultimately they can lead to things that are not gonna, it's not gonna work out. But often there is beauty in the imperfections. Like, Victor realizes that if he makes everything perfect, then nothing's worth anything at all. And I love the relationship between Victor and Jace, because it culminates in this moment where Victor time traveled to give Jace this piece of the Arcane so that he could stop him from ending everything. Victor telling Jace, you're the only one that can make me see this in this moment. It does this moment where it's like Victor is telling Jace after Victor time traveled so that Jace could get there, where Victor sees Victor telling Jace that he's the only one that can make him realize this. And I know it's complicated, but I feel like it worked so well. At least for me, I loved it. Like, Victor finally snaps out of it after being completely corrupted by the Arcane. Getting smacked in his face was just what he needed to finally be like, wait, maybe there is beauty in the imperfections. And again, with Victor's character, like, he grew up imperfect. I think he hated that about himself. He always wanted to be better, and that's what made him fall into the Arcane. But then Jace just wanted his partner back. He just wanted them to be friends. He wanted to accept the imperfections, and that's what led up to this moment where they both just save everything, and they realize together, this isn't going to be perfect, but it's what we got, and we got to, let life live. And again, I just feel like this story is perfect. I think there is one thing that I'll say that should have been handled a little differently. I think Caitlyn needed to have a little bit more character development in this season. It doesn't quite make sense for her to get duped by Ambessa and then make this switch out of what feels like nowhere. Like, I feel like there just needed to be a little bit more dialogue or a little bit more explanation there, but that's genuinely, I think, my only critique. But yeah, please let me know your comments on this show. I will read every single one and respond to every single one if I can. And I guess I'm going to leave you with this. If you don't like this show, go watch Sesame Street. I don't know if you can deal with nuance, but yeah, Sesame Street might be for you. Okay, that's me being an asshole. But yeah, leave a comment, join my Discord. I do watch parties in my Discord and stuff. Thank you for watching the video. I will see you later. Peace. Thank you so much to all my Patreons for supporting the channel, and thank you, Paragon, for the extra crazy support.